Hi YouTube, this is Renegade Gamer. I just got done watching the Sony E3 um, convention, or presentation, that's the word I'm looking for. Um, and I wrote down a bunch of stuff that they showed there, and I got a lot to say about it. First off, it was a great show. They did a lot of good work. The presentations were pretty good. Um, but let's go ahead and get to meet what you came for. Okay, so first off, we showed The Last of Us Part 2. In this, we got a little bit more of what's going on. We didn't see Joel. I didn't see Joel anywhere. But the game seems to be about Ellie, and it showed gameplay of Ellie. You got a little bit of story there. It showed a dancing scene with her and another girl. And it cut over to basically her going through a forest in like stealth, and her eventually killing somebody. It looked really interesting, looked good. Still had the very brutal feel of the original Last of Us. One thing to note, and this may bug you or not, depending on if you played the DLC, she and the girl she's dancing with do kiss, pretty much confirming what we thought was there to begin with. So, yeah. Overall, looking forward to that. It's one of the big games I've been looking forward to. Outside there or anything. Yeah, so that's all in The Last of Us Part 2. I gotta check my notes here. The next game we showed was a game called Ghost of Tsushima? Tsushima, I think is how it's pronounced. This is basically a samurai game. Taking place during one of the Mongolian raids on China, apparently. First thing I want to note about this game, there doesn't seem to be a user interface. No UI whatsoever. No health bar, nothing. It's an interesting time. It was interesting because, first off, it looked beautiful. The graphics were incredible. Anybody that's watched my channel knows that I don't usually say that, but the graphics in this game look really good. But you're playing a samurai, I think his name was Jin, and you get on a horse and you're riding through all these the flowers. It's a beautiful meadow of just flowers, and you're riding through all these flowers. You get into this area, and then you meet up with this woman who has a bow and arrow. And y'all apparently are going to go after a target of some sort. So you get there, and then you infiltrate the area with stealth gameplay, which looked like it played pretty well. You didn't get to see a lot of it. You end up in the Raptors, and there has to be some kind of targeting system here. It reminded me a lot about Batman Arkham City. Not City, Arkham Knight, where Batman could jump down and knock about 3 guys out in a row with the fear thing. The reason I say that is because he comes down with a sword, kills somebody, immediately slaps it into another guy over here, and then kills another guy over here. But before that, before he jumps down, you're looking at him and you can see that he's targeting each one of them. I don't know how that's done exactly within game, especially with no user interface. But it's there. It looked really cool. He saves the guy. They go out, and the guy immediately gets hit across the eye with an arrow that's been shot at him by the girl, or the woman rather. And he and the woman and Jin, the samurai you've been controlling, and the woman end up fighting with each other with swords, and it's a really cool fight. It shows off a lot of the what you can do with a blade. It looked like it had a some kind of reactionary counterattack. In other words, you'd hit block and you'd block, but then you could also counterattack right afterwards. This is what it looked like. It looked really cool. I didn't know anything about the game, and I didn't even heard of it. But this really got me hyped for it. I thought it was a really excellent presentation of the game. So the next thing we had that came up was there was a new Tetris game that was briefly shown. Not much to say about that. There wasn't really a lot to it. Then we had, let's see, a couple other small things here. We had a game called, it was a Rick and Morty game of some sort. I forgot the title. I just wrote down Rick and Morty game because that's what it was. They got one coming out. The presentation for that, it was a guy in a bathtub, basically making fun of everybody who was watching E3. He had a television here and he was playing a game. He's like, I'm just playing a game in a bathtub, playing a game in a bathtub, and then suddenly the TV falls on the bathtub and kills him. And a guy comes in running in and goes, is anybody got the number for 711? Because that's how it works in this universe. I don't watch Rick and Morty, so that's not something for me, but you may like it. I just thought you might want to know that game's out there. Then we had a strange game, Control. I don't even know where to start with this. It looked like Inception, sort of, with buildings turning all over the place and spirals, and it was a third-person shooter, but it looked like your protagonist had some kind of control over the gravity of some sort. It was really bizarre. Yeah, your protagonist is a woman. Like I said, there was gravity fluctuation of some sort. I'm not really sure what the hell is going on in that game. It looked futuristic, but I don't really know for certain. It was a really bizarre game, and there's not a lot I can say about it because they didn't say anything on it. So literally, we know nothing about it except what the little gameplay footage we got of it, and it was all pre-rendered. It looked cool, but I don't know what to say about it, unfortunately. So, Control. Then we came down to the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the last 4 games are the big games. A lot of people are all big games that a lot of people want to hear about. So, I'm going to start this off with the first one in the mix. We got a trailer that you're looking through the eyes of something that's going through food, it's going through shelves and everything else, and in the background you hear this guy talking to this what's a cop, and telling him not to hurt him, and they start struggling, and they knock over the thing, and like I said, you've been following this vision point at all times, and this shelf falls down, and when it falls down, the camera backs up, and when it backs up, you see that you've been following a little mouse or a rat, and the rat is not dead. And then you see the guy over here, and the cop is taking a chunk out of his neck, and I was sitting there, I was like, what is this exactly? I didn't know if it was vampires, zombies, or whatever. And then a guy you see him get shot. He falls backwards, and then there is Leon S. fucking Kennedy right there with his fucking gun, blew his head right off. RE2 is now coming out, so awesome. Didn't have a release date, unfortunately, but it did show a lot of cutscenes. We saw a lot of new redesigns. Claire looked a little weird. I'm not used to that kind of design for Claire. Sherry looked fine. We didn't see William. William Birkin we did not see. But we did see some liquors and zombies, and there may have been a dog in there. I may have missed that, though. But there was also the dead body on Chief Iron's table. We saw that. The entirety of the police station you see, and Martin, the cop that Leon meets. He has a short conversation. Some of the lines have been changed. It looks like it's a really well done remake of the game, though. Is what I'm getting at. We didn't really see any gameplay, but from what we saw, it did look like it was coming along pretty decently so far. So there you go. Then we had let's see, Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, I missed the earlier showing today from Square of the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer, but I know what happened within that trailer. From everything I've learned, this is a completely different trailer. And the very first thing we see in this trailer is Sora and Donald and Goofy are on a raft, and they got pirate hats on. And they go, I'm so glad to be a pirate again. Yeah, but I wish our ship was bigger. And then it cuts to the ship going through the sand, and on the ship is Jack Sparrow, and it's basically from at World's End. The Pirates of the Caribbean is a world in the game, is what I'm getting at. I don't know if it's following the entirety of Dead Man's Chest and World's End, or it's just following another one. I'm not sure how exactly that's going to work, but it is in the game. And during that whole sequence, we also learned that Luxord is here, and he's searching for something or another. And then we see oh shit, what's her name? Loxine. We see Loxine, and she says something in there. I forgot what it was. We see Xemnas and Terranort standing beside each other. Yeah, I believe it's Terranort. They're both standing beside each other, and we see. Let me check my notes here to make sure I didn't miss anything here. The weirdest part about this one was one of the final scenes they show. We get some scenes between this of Frozen's world, Tangled's world, Monsters Incorporated. I think Toy Story was shown in there, I believe, and the Coliseum. But then the last scene you see before it cuts to black is a Riku. It's Riku. He's sitting here. But beside him is the more interesting part. It's Repliku from Chain of Memories. And it looks like they've been having a conversation with one another. I don't know. This is Kingdom Hearts we're talking about. The damn story is really complicated. Now here's the great part about this particular preview. So it cuts to black. It says Kingdom Hearts 3, and it says the release date. Nothing awesome about that. We already know that. But then it shows 1.5, 2.5, 2.8, Kingdom Hearts 3, and they all come together, and it's over to PS3 or PS4 in a collector's edition. You can get all the games at once. If you have not purchased a PS4 and you are interested in all in the Kingdom Hearts games, you can now purchase a PS4 with all the Kingdom Hearts games. I think they said the release date's in January, so there you go. You get the PS4. It's in 4 games right off the bat. So awesome. I don't know how much. They didn't say how much it was. I want to admit that they did not give you a price, unfortunately. So, see so we talked about that. Okay, 2 games left. All right, so, yeah, we'll talk about this one first. Kojima's game Death Stranding. It was also shown. I'm not sure what to make of this, to be honest with you. It's interesting, but I don't know what the fuck's going on. Basically, you have Norman Reedus, and he's walking through what looks like a post-apocalyptic world, and it looks like he's carrying goods from one destination to another destination, and there's actually quite a bit here they do show off, and you kind of do get some ideals. He's going across a ladder at one point. He's got this huge freaking amount of stuff on his back. He meets up with a person, and she starts talking to him and telling him things. And then you finally get some gameplay footage, which is he needs to go outside and do something or another. And they tell him that if you die, that's fine. It'll just create a crater. But other things, I'm like, because you'll come back. And I'm like, wait a minute. What do you mean you'll come back? What the fuck? There's so little that we know about this game, unfortunately. We can infer a lot of stuff here, though. So, apparently, he says he gets an ideal, and he's got this baby in a thing here. I'm not really sure how this works. But he turns it on, you see the baby in there, and then he hooks up the thing up here that's got like kind of a tri thing. And what it does is it shows off all these monsters that are around the area. They're invisible to the eye. You can see them with this thing on, as long as you are in their direction. And a lot of creatures, they looked interesting. They were very shadow-like and reptilian, with some human characteristics to it. The sound was definitely more of the dinosaur nature from each of them. I don't know what the fuck these things were. If I had to guess, and this is just Looneyville, me theoricrafting out the ass, I would say that this is not our world. I would think that this is actually another world that we're on. But I don't know for certain. I got some, that Will Smith movie that came out a few years ago with him and his son. I got some vibes from that. I'm not sure exactly what we're getting here. But the last scene, he's seen by the monsters, and they surround him, and basically he starts sinking into like a dark pit, and then it cuts to the credit, to Death Stranding, and basically the last shot is of some woman, don't know who she is, it's a blonde, and then it just reads off the credits. So that's basically all we got. There's some little bits and pieces here you can probably put together some things, but I feel like I still don't know much about this game, unfortunately. Now, does look like there's some, it does still look like it's running off of the engine of Horizon Zero Dawn, but it also looks like it's mixed with the Fox engine a little bit. I'm not sure. I know Kojima said he wanted to run it off of the Horizon Zero Dawn engine. In some cases, I can see that, but there were some things that they were doing with this engine that reminded me a lot of the Fox engine, so I don't know. And the last game. Okay, so final game, Spider-Man. First off, we saw Shocker, Rhino, Vulture, Scorpion, and I don't know what this guy's name is. I didn't recognize him from the comics. He was a white guy, and I mean that literally. He was a white guy, like an not an inside-out man, a whiteout guy. We'll call him whiteout guy. So whiteout guy, and they do a prison break, and Spider-Man ends up having to fight them, and you see some of the combat, and the way the combat looks, it looks very Arkham Batman-like, with combos, with there was a combo meter up here, basically reaction commands, dodging, and everything else. It looked very Batman-like. Also, you can shoot webs, get in the air, and do attacks from the air, come back down, fight like fight all over the place. And Spider-Man was throwing out quips the entire time. It was very cool. There was a lot of gameplay showed, and there was some story showed here and there. Not a lot of story. It was just snippets. And then afterwards, they had about 30 minutes of nothing but Spider-Man footage showing you swinging around the town and interacting with some things here and there. It was pretty cool overall. So yeah, Sony's E3 was awesome. I really enjoyed it. Earlier in the day, I also got to see some of Ubisoft's What I saw there is I thought they did really well. The the Skull and Bones game is the one I'm most looking forward to. That did Tom Clancy, which is the pirate game. Looked really interesting. And Tom Clancy's Division 2 was another game I thought looked kind of interesting. I don't know. I didn't play the first one, so I don't know exactly how good it would be. And then, of course, they said that they didn't have any more information on Beyond Good and Evil Part 2 right now because it's still in development. But overall, a great presentation. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I thought they did a pretty good job. Definitely got some interesting things here. I was not expecting, for instance, I was not expecting the Ghost of Tsushima. I didn't know what the fuck that game was, and the RE2 one, I'd heard rumors, but we had not seen anything, and still hadn't seen anything, and I was just kind of surprised it showed up here. Overall, great presentation. I give them a A. Because it was a good presentation. So anyway, I'm Renegade Gamer, and y'all have a great day. And remember, take it easy, man.